and get that fruit and veggies into your body, where it's going to do you a lot of good and not in the trash. Check us out, eatcleaner.com, or head to our Amazon store at amazon.com/eatcleaner. I don't know what faith you practice. Maybe you don't practice a faith at all, but let me share with you something that my pastor shared with us. You know, we have been kind of fooled into this mindset that you do what you feel like because that will bring you joy. But as human beings, we actually need some boundaries. We actually need some parameters. Just doing what we want to because the ego takes over or the id takes over is not really the answer. Sure, we can still enjoy and we can find pleasure in things, but within boundaries. And so a boundary doesn't mean a diet. A boundary means, yes, you should get your essential amino acids in every single day because they're essential. You need them for hormonal balance. You need them for your muscles. You need them for your brain. You need them to be able to have a sex drive. You need them to be able to sleep. They're essential. And you need fresh food. You need vegetables. You need fruit. You need to have a certain amount of protein to power your muscles. You need to have a certain amount of fat to power your brain and give you sustained energy. You need to hydrate. See, these are all essential truths. And that's the framework that I work within. Now, can you make it delicious from there? Fork ya. Oh yeah. You have to, because if you just always eat steamed broccoli and grilled chicken, it's going to get boring pretty fast, right? So you can basically take anything that you love and make it better. Smart swaps is what I call it. I was on a show called Recipe Rehab. 2 seasons. We were on ABC. It was an Emmy-nominated show. Hopefully you watched an episode or 2. But on that show, we took family recipes and we made them better. So people didn't have to feel like they were sacrificing. They could still eat the chocolate cake. They could still have the spaghetti with meatballs. They could still feast on an apple pie for the holidays, but that apple pie didn't contain an artery-clogging amount of fat and enough sugar to put you into a diabetic shock. You know, there are ways to smart swap. And that's what we do. That's how we can still enjoy all of the things we love. Do you think for a minute I would stop eating pasta? Oh, that's like sacrilege. I lived in Italy and there is no way I could give up pasta. No way. But do I control the portion sizes? Do I pick better options for the pasta? Do I watch what I put on it and maybe make it more veggie forward? Add more flavor with herbs and spices instead of a lot of fat? Yes, all of the above. But does it take away from the taste? No. So we have to start thinking about our relationship with food differently. And I think it's about making friends with our food. You know, I think that's where, for me, I personally got over my eating issues and see my relationship with food as so essential. You know, when you speak to somebody who maybe does have an eating disorder or dysmorphia, they just don't see their body as it actually appears. They actually see themselves in a different way. You know, there's usually a root cause there. There's usually something that they are trying to control or some sort of trauma that they are dealing with. And look, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to begin to provide advice on that. But I will tell you what helped me. What helped me was stopping for a second and really understanding nutrition. When you understand what your body needs, the mandatory things that the body needs, then you start to see your relationship with food differently. According to UC Davis Integrative Medicine, going back to the amino acids are essential because they account for 75% of our dry body weight. 75, but that's 3/4 of our dry body weight are from proteins. 95% of our muscle And 100% of our hormones, neurotransmitters, and neuropeptides, okay? Those are all things that we need to function properly, regulate all of our hormonal systems, and feel joy. 100% of that. So imagine if you are trying to sustain yourself on only fruit, or you have completely cut out meat and you're not getting the balance of proteins. I'm not saying you can't, but you have to watch out for that a little bit more. You are depriving your body of what it needs as the building blocks of everything that you do. Think about that for a second. Without L-phenylalanine, which is an amino acid, you wouldn't be able to regulate your thyroid, which regulates your metabolism. So maybe you are struggling actually with keeping the weight off because your metabolism does not sustain itself. Without lysine, again, another essential amino acid, you would have a really hard time keeping your immunity and antibodies in check, which right now, in the middle of this pandemic, that is so essential. Without tryptophan, you wouldn't produce serotonin. And that's the feel-good hormone that makes you feel turned on. I mean, if your sex drive is up and went, that could be because of what's on your plate. The ding-dongs and the Cheetos are not doing it, babe. Plus, that tryptophan also helps you sleep, and sleep is essential to lowering cortisol and keeping inflammation down. Inflammation is the cause of most of the diseases that we are dealing with right now in our modern society. Stress-related. And unlike fat and starch, our bodies can't store these essential amino acids for a rainy day. So you've got to get them in daily. And that, my friends, is where nutrition and a chef's perspective can meet and elevate your potential through what you put on your fork, your spoon, your knife. So when I say essential strategies, I'm not just saying, yeah, they're pretty important, or you might want to consider them. I'm saying they're essential because they're essential to you being whole and happy. They're crucial to your every function. And if you aren't paying attention to that, it can really slip by the wayside. So that is where my point of view on teaching you comes to a head. So I'm just saying, no matter how many good for you foods you might put in front of someone that isn't used to that, isn't used to eating that way, you're not going to change their behavior. It has to be done methodically. It has to be done with a system. And that is what I teach you in my program and in my book. This idea of I'll just feed my face because it feels good, tastes good, and looks good, it's not working. You've got to think about intentional flavor, intentional foods, intentional nutrition, intentional everything. And that is where you make change happen. Or I like to say, make shift happen. It's not a quick fix. It's one that changes you for life. A quick fix is something that you do temporarily and then you might go back to another habit. But how has that been serving you? Can we be honest here? Has it been helping? So I'm just saying, let's really dial this in and let's do it together. There's been no better time to start than yesterday. So how about today? Let's do it today. I feel like at 51, I truly have unlocked the fountain of youth. And a lot of that has to do with food and lifestyle shifts. If you just text Fit Foodie to 22828, you'll get a free download that I created called Happy Hormones. And it doesn't really matter what life stage you're at. You may be early and in your prime. You may be at menopause or maybe perimenopause. It really doesn't matter. The whole philosophy is the same. And if you're listening and you're a dude and you're like, I don't know about what you're saying about hormones, but just like help me lose this weight and help me eat better, I got you too. So just text Fit Foodie to 22828. And let me make life a lot easier for you. Because as human beings, we make about 35,000 decisions every single day. Every bite leads to an important choice that can impact your future. I mean, wrap your head around that for a second. You're either breaking your house down or you're building it up. You are constantly in a state of becoming the best version of you through your blood chemistry. And when you're feeding your body to the core, when you're giving it the fuel that it needs, and that clean energy is pulsating through your system, it's doing something that you cannot even measure. And that series of choices starts with everyday decisions. You'll learn how to meal plan. You'll learn how to think about what to, choose from in your refrigerator with a shopping list. You'll learn how to pull together a 5-minute meal. I mean, all the things. You'll even learn how to take your favorite family meals and make them better. Knowing what to eat, enjoying it often, eating with the people you love, and making friends with food will change your destiny. I promise you. And if anything, it's going to help us get through this season of life a whole lot more smoothly. When you have a real relationship with food, you know you can always rely on it to go the distance with you. It will love you, it will care for you, and it will support you unconditionally when your body needs it. Then, and only then, I contend, you can have priceless moments and connections to the people around you. Now go give your plate a big hug and join me. I'll see you on the inside. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I know you have a lot of choices out there of what to listen to, what to watch, so it means a lot to me that you're here with me. And hey, if you love this content, would you hit the subscribe button? I want you around. I don't want you to just show up for one episode and leave. I want you here, part of the conversation, a seat at this table. And while you're at it, would you share this with your friends and family? And if you take a screenshot and share it on your social media with a hashtag RFYBL for Recipes for Your Best Life, I'll make sure to personally give you a shout out, and you may just be featured right here on the show. So until next time, here's to living deliciously and being the chef of your best life.